You may contain the urge, run away, but hold her down with soggy clothes and breathe slow. Citrazine, your fever, see me again, never to see me again, never to. Do you know where the whoppings go? They go along the tape.
What's up, man? What's up, man? Get the fuck out of the car. This shitbox doesn't have turn signals. Come on, bro, get out of the car. What's up, man? What's up, man? Get the fuck out of the car. This shitbox doesn't have turn signals. Come on, bro, get out of the car.
Alright, so in this clip, I'm approaching the vehicle. We're going to put this in the context of, say, a road rage. Another individual, in this case the attacker, pulls a weapon from the vehicle and starts to approach the vehicle that you're in. Obviously, in this clip, I'm attempting to goad the driver of the vehicle out to attack them. I have intent. So we'll pass this over to you, and what's going on with you?
Yeah, so Jack has clearly stated his intent at this point. He's acting violently. He has a weapon. He's telling me he's going to hurt me. And I am making the mistake of giving him opportunity by leaving the vehicle and giving him access to myself. This is obviously a no-shoot.
What's up, bro? What's your problem? Does this thing have a turn signal? What the fuck's wrong with you? What's up, bro? What's your problem? Does this thing have a turn signal? What the fuck's wrong with you?
This fucking asshole.
So in this clip, this is another road rage situation. Driver gets out of the car with a crowbar. This time, the one change is that driver hits your vehicle. So we'll give this over to Ben, and he'll explain.
Yeah, so someone damaging your vehicle is never... Property damage is never a reason to shoot somebody. That is a no-go. It sucks. You know, he dented my door, he smashed my mirror off, whatever, but I am still technically safe inside of my vehicle at this point.
What's up, bro? Get the fuck out of the car. You got a fucking problem, man? What's up, bro? Get the fuck out of the car. You got a fucking problem?
Alright, so in this clip, same kind of scenario. It's a road rage situation. In this case, the weapon is actually a firearm. The vehicle in front of you, the driver gets out and brandishes a weapon, this one being a firearm, inside the waistband. Starts to approach the vehicle, hurls threats, trying to get you out of the vehicle. Now let's pass this over to the driver, Ben, and see what's going on.
Yeah, so this is another no shoot. I cannot shoot him here. He's brandishing. This is very, very close. At this point, you should be cranking up all those little dials in yourself to 11 and getting ready for a fight, but you can't shoot him yet for brandishing. That's no good.
What's up, bro? Got a problem? I'll fucking kill you. Get out of the car, bro. What's up, bro? Got a problem? I'll fucking kill you. Get out of the car, bro.
Alright, so in this clip, I'm approaching the vehicle with a crowbar, but at a very large distance. On the video, it's kind of hard to tell how much distance there actually is. It's probably 30 to 40 feet, every bit of. So we're going to give this over to Ben, and he's going to explain.
Yeah, so this is one of those things where we wanted to demonstrate the clear lack of opportunity. He has intent, he has means, he says he wants to kill me, he has a serious impact weapon. You know, obviously we've covered preclusion at this point too. I'm trapped, I can't go anywhere, but with him at this distance, he's still not an actual credible threat to my person, my life. Can't shoot him yet.
What's up, bro? You got a problem? Don't you know how to use a turn signal, bro? What's your problem? What's up, bro? You got a problem? Don't you know how to use a turn signal, bro?
Alright, so in this clip, another road rage situation. You have a driver leaving the vehicle, brandishing a weapon inside of their waistband, but the change in this clip is that person draws their firearm from the waistband. I'll give this over to Ben, talk about it.
Yeah, so in this scenario, this is where things get really intense. You know, brandishing is one thing, but when he actually goes for that gun, puts his hand on it, takes it out of the holster, and it just starts to go in my direction, that's where I'm going to jump into action. That's where my gun comes out. That's where I'm not, you know, playing games anymore. And at that point, you know, I should already have some kind of a hand on my weapon. I should be in some state of really advanced preparedness for what's about to happen. Because obviously he's already going for that gun. It's coming out. It's something really bad is about to happen. So in my response, you can see my reaction in this clip. My hand's already on my gun. I'm getting ready. And then as soon as he starts to point it in my direction, I'm already right there and getting ready to shoot, getting ready to, handle that situation.
What's up, motherfucker? You got a problem? I'll fucking kill you. Perfect. Woo. Oh, yeah.
All right, so in this clip, same context. You have a driver in another vehicle approaching your vehicle with a deadly impact weapon. In this case, it's a crowbar. So we're going to give it over to Ben. He's going to walk us through it.
Yeah, so this is the whole finale for this type of scenario. In this clip, he has stated his intent very clearly. He's acting aggressively. He has the means. Obviously, crowbar is something that'll kill you in a single strike, especially if it hits you in the head. And most importantly, he's gaining access inside of my vehicle. Once this window breaks right here, now I can shoot him. And I am completely within a legal right in virtually every jurisdiction to shoot him at this point. So yeah, and kind of keeping this whole crowbar attack sequence in mind, the thing I'm demonstrating here in this next clip is basically guarding my head by bringing my arm over the top of it while I'm shooting from deep retention. We've all seen the various conflict videos, Antifa versus Proud Boys, whatever. There's a lot of stick fighting going on out there that'll give people a pretty good idea of how people use impact weapons in that nature, whether it's a baseball bat, a stick, a crowbar. They're generally going to swing it overhand or sideways like a baseball bat. That's just what people do, especially when they're untrained. And so by bringing my arm over the top of my head like this and, leaning back into that retention shot, basically what it's doing is guarding the top of my head, the side of my head, from impact strikes coming from an impact weapon like that. And you can do this, in a car. You can do this standing on your feet. It's a very flexible, and it's honestly, it's nothing original for myself. This is something I picked up a very, very long time ago. It's kind of like a go-to gold standard technique for protecting your head because, if he swings this crowbar at me and, I'm properly protecting myself and it hits my arm, it is going to shatter the bones of my arm. I'm going to be done with that arm, which is also why we practice shooting offhand,
Absolutely.
unsupported.
Absolutely.
But it's going to shatter the bones in my arm. But that is far better than having my skull broken open. That's, you're mitigating damage to your body at that point. So that's the purpose of that. Even if I'm just kind of doing it in a car, just to kind of demo it out. But again, you can do this on your feet. There's no limitations for this technique when you have somebody coming at you with an impact weapon. Just getting that arm over the top of your head and shielding yourself while shooting from an index position is a great way to protect your skull. So
cool. So obviously, in this video, throughout this, you see Ben pointing firearm at me. We want to briefly touch on that and discuss that. Obviously, the firearm is clear. We both verified that the firearm is clear before every single run. We do not have blue guns or orange guns at the time. That will be coming soon. I know Ben's got some stuff to say. So,
yeah, we're not cool enough for cert pistols or blue guns yet. But every single run that we would do, we would show each other's, firearms to each other, verify that they were empty, verify the magazines were unloaded, drop the hammer. Just, we went well out of our way to make sure that we were still being as safe as possible, even though we are clearly violating one of the 4 golden rules of firearm safety. Regrettably.
And to cut him off real quick, preferably in a situation like this, you do want to be using a blue gun or an orange gun.
Yes, absolutely.
We have a lot of rounds downrange. Obviously, we're very aware of the safety rules, the golden rules of firearm safety, so we abided by that, but this is something that we needed to bring up and kind of touch on.
Yeah, because we're pretty sure someone would bring that up if we didn't address it. but we went to every length we could to be as safe as we possibly could be. Okay, so one thing we wanted to talk about too, there's a lot of kind of, and what in my opinion is a very nitpicky thing when it comes to technique. In virtually all of these clips, when I go to draw across myself to shoot out of the driver's side of the vehicle, I am sweeping my legs with the gun. I am aware that I am sweeping my own legs with the gun. Because in most of these situations, you're going to be surrounded by traffic, and legally, you are liable for every single projectile that comes out of your weapon. That is, if you just kind of get, if you jump the gun, so to literally speak, and accidentally send a projectile out of your windshield and strike somebody that you didn't mean to, you're still going to do prison time for manslaughter. That's reality. So me personally, I would much rather sweep my own legs and run the small risk of injuring myself in case I just jump that trigger really hard, and run that risk of injuring myself rather than someone, some innocent bystander that's not even involved in this situation. So that's my whole kind of premise, because you see a lot of, the other thing we see is that, when you go to draw, you bring the gun up in this kind of weird high port and swing it out that way, basically towards the windshield. But again, you're putting that muzzle on everything within 100 yards at least of what could possibly go wrong. And I don't like that. I would much rather come out of my holster, sweep my own legs across, and directly engage what I'm trying to aim at in the first place.
And the other thing too is obviously you're sweeping your own body, you're sweeping your legs. But again, this is mitigated with proper training techniques. You don't want to be prepping the trigger too early.
Right.
You don't want to be getting on that trigger too early. When you're on the flat range and you're coming out of holster and drawing on a target, obviously you want to be prepping that trigger as you're getting your sight picture and pushing your gun out. You don't start prepping your trigger when you come out of holster and you're moving to this position. You prep that trigger as you're pushing out on that target, not down here. So that is something that you mitigate through training, that small risk of flagging yourself and potentially having an ND in your own femoral artery gets mitigated with proper training techniques. That's something that I think is a video opportunity for us later on down the road, talking about when to prep the trigger, just basic draw stroke stuff. I think that's a good video idea.
Absolutely.
Going forward.
Absolutely. It's all true. And even if you slow this video down, you will see that my finger is well outside of the trigger guard as I'm sweeping my own legs. And I'm not, my finger isn't coming on that trigger until I'm damn near completely on target. So granted, I am sweeping my own legs, but I'm also not prepping that trigger, putting my finger on that trigger, which is what prepping the trigger is. I'm not putting my finger on that trigger until the muzzle is actually clear of my own body. So when you're exiting a vehicle with a firearm, there's really only two things you have to be that concerned about. One is properly bracing the door open with your foot. Basically, in this clip, you can see when I'm throwing the door open with my hand, I'm bringing my leg out, and I'm trying to put it out as far on the outer part of the door as I can. Basically, you're trying to increase your leverage as much as possible when you're holding that door open. Because if you don't do that, especially if your vehicle is on an incline, you'll go to open that door will go open, it'll bounce off the hinges and come right back closed on your hands, your leg, whatever. It's going to be nasty. So when you throw that door open with your hand, you're going to be helping it open with your foot. And again, you want your foot to be as far on the, towards the outside edge of that door as possible, to increase your leverage and hold it open. Maybe you're going to be firing shots, maybe you're not, but you want that door to stay open. That's the big thing. Yep. The next part of this whole thing is just properly unbelting yourself from the vehicle, which is something that if you have never done it before, it's not something that's going to occur to you because it's not a natural motion. So in this video, you can see where I'm unbelting myself from the car. What I'm doing is I'm sliding my hand underneath the top belt before I go to unbuckle the seat belt. And this is something that it's a great habit, if you're carrying firearms, if you're using firearms, if you might want to, it's a great habit just to get into the routine of doing. Because when you slide your hand underneath that and then go for the buckle, basically once that buckle unlatches and you go to just move from there, that belt and that buckle is completely clear of your body. So like I'm going to do it improperly in this next clip. We'll reach over the top of that upper belt section and I go to, I just reach right over the top, I go to unclip it, and I go to come out of the car with a gun, and I eat shit. Because that's what's going to happen. That belt, if you unclip it over the top, it's already looped through your arm. So once you go to get out, especially if you're presenting a firearm, it's going to catch right inside of your shoulder and just throw your ass to the ground. And obviously that's not a tactically advantageous situation to be in. So again, when you're unbuckling yourself from the vehicle, and this is something just do it on your daily routine when you're not even thinking about this kind of thing, this situation, just sliding your hand underneath the top section of that belt before you unbuckle it.
Yeah. And there is, to cut him off once again, there is a couple different minor techniques, and this is really kind of diving into the weeds of things. You do see a lot of guys where they use their thumb and sort of a fishing technique to do this. Ben brought this up to me, and this is a really good point, that's another fine motor movement, and it's kind of one of my focuses in shooting in general, to eliminate fine motor movements as much as you can, especially in a stressful situation. So the technique of actually getting your full hand underneath and going towards the buckle is a lot better than trying to get your thumb underneath a very small piece of material. If it's a real situation and stressful, you want to eliminate as many fine motor movements as you can.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in that. Whether it comes to some type of weapon manipulation drill, or something like unbelting yourself from a vehicle, just keep it as simple and as much in like the kind of gross motor movement arena as you possibly can, because we're training this under zero pressure. Obviously, I mean it's only the pressure we put on ourselves, but we are also keeping in mind that we're doing this under the context that we would be getting shot at while doing this. And when you're getting shot at and you have that much adrenaline going through your body, you are not going to have time to kind of gently guide your thumb underneath that belt and, guide it down through and do all that stuff. So just keep it as, just big fat movements, things that are going to kind of come naturally to you, that you're not going to think about. So
You may contain the earth on a way, but hold her down with soggy clothes. Intervene, your fever, scream me again. Never kiss me